Right after the successful launch of the glorious GMMK Pro, the Keychron Q1 is probably the next most anticipated custom mechanical keyboard of the year. The Q1 is more affordable and comes with extra customization options when compared with the GMMK Pro. So it is unavoidable if the community want to compare them as they share a lot of the characteristics. So without further ado, let's get it started. Out of the box, you are getting the Keychron Q1 mechanical keyboard, the coil aviator USB-A to USB-C cable, keycap puller, switch puller, screwdriver and hex key, and additional keycaps for Windows or Mac Legends. Since our review sample is a review sample, that probably explains why the hex key and the screwdriver was missing. Nonetheless, your retail sample should have all of this in the package. One interesting point is that Keychron has decided to include the coil aviator cable in the package. This alone should attract a lot of buyers because the custom cable like this is not cheap. However, you also cannot compare this to those custom-made ones because most of the time those should have better quality cables as compared to this. If you can see here, the coil cable is not exactly in the right angle because most of the time your USB-C cable is supposed to be in 90 degree, but not like this one. As for the aviator connector side, should be straight instead of 90 degree like this. However, this issue should be easily fixed with just a hairdryer and some time to bend it around. Depending on your regional supplier's decision, some might bring in the bare bone option or a fully assembled option or even both. So make sure to check out your local choices from your suppliers and dealers. We Malaysians will most likely get the fully assembled ones. The Keychron Q1 is using the 75% exploded layout whereby you get the typing zone, function row, arrow cluster, as well as some of the navigational buttons like the page up, page down, things like this. And the one we have here is actually using the Keychron's ABS double shot keycaps. And the switch we got here from our review sample is actually the Phantom Brown. As you might have heard about this thing, Keychron actually has collaborated with Keychron to make these modified switches called the Phantom series. There are actually 3 different Phantom switches available: the Phantom Red, Phantom Blue, and Phantom Brown. Just like how you used to differentiate the characteristics of the Cherry MX switches. Red is linear, blue is clicky, brown is tactile. And since the Phantom series also falls under the Keychron Pro series, the switches are actually factory lube. The main reason why they call it Phantom is due to the phantom light effects, whereby the housing color affects the RGB lighting. I'm not sure why this is considered a selling point because I personally would prefer the RGB to be more color accurate. But there you have it. If you have your own switch preference, you can also change the switch as the Q1 has modular switch socket. The switch socket is south-facing, so you don't have to worry about the interference with some of the keycaps like GMK, something like that. The chassis is CNC Aluminium and it is heavy and sturdy for your build. And Keychron has been very friendly with macOS as they also provided a special toggle switch for you to quickly switch between Windows or macOS. That also explains why they actually provided additional keycaps for macOS and Windows. Taking apart the keyboard is relatively easy. There are 8 screws securing the bottom chassis to the top housing. One thing to take note is that you will have to use the included Allen key to unscrew the hex screw. I really like how Keychron is taking extra care at choosing this type of screw for the Q1, as it is gold color and it looks more classy as compared to the GMMK Pro's standard silverish small screw. Now, unlike the GMMK Pro whereby they emphasize on taking apart the top housing first, the Q1 is slightly in reverse. So after you remove all the 8 screws, you can immediately take away the bottom chassis. And here's the thing, the first thing I noticed is the pre-installed sound dampening foam at the bottom chassis is extremely thin, to a point that it is not actually doing anything in terms of dampening the sound and things like that. So modding, you will definitely spend some time and money or effort to do the padding underneath the PCB. Removing the main PCB will require you to first take apart the daughter board. The daughter board is secured by 2 small screws, so not really a hassle to remove, but you will have to take extra care at removing the ribbon cable. So that's pretty much how you can take apart the entire Keychron Q1, and you can proceed with the modding. Let's say if you want to change the padding in between the PCB and the plate, you can also do so. Personally, I think Keychron has done a good job at the pre-assembled this keyboard, especially the lubing of the stabilizers on the long keys like the shift, spacebar, backspace, enter. There's no sticky keys like the GMMK Pro. One thing I also want to take note is that the Keychron Q1 is actually a gasket mounted keyboard. As you can see, the gasket foam is pretty soft. That contributes to a rather soft typing experience on the Keychron Q1. So it depends on your personal preference. If you think it is too soft, you of course can definitely mod it to your liking. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers some of the characteristics of the Keychron Q1. Check out the typing sound if you're interested. So I hope my microphone actually do the justice of capturing the typing sound, especially the bottom row is extremely pingy, and that explains how the tissue thin foam underneath the keyboard is not actually doing anything. So definitely you will need to mod that part for a better typing sound. As for the software, there's actually a lot of ways for you to customize this keyboard. It also supports the QMK or the VIA software for you to flash the firmwares and change all the key bindings and everything. Personally, even if you just connect this keyboard directly to USB to a PC, and you can straight away use it without having to worry about all of those stuff. One thing I almost forgot to mention is that how Keychron Q1 is so special compared to the GMMK Pro is that they actually offer a more customization option. For example, the top right key over here right now is insert key. You can actually remove the switch and install a rotary encoder if you want to have I don't know, your volume control knob, something like that. You know, knob is a hype thing right now. And if you don't want a switch nor a knob and you just want to make it your keyboard, Keychron also has an option for you to print, engrave some sort of a metal logo. You can mount it over there. Unfortunately, we're not sure if this service is available in Malaysia, as this keyboard is bringing by one of the local distributor for reselling. However, you can also order this keyboard directly from Keychron website if you don't mind paying for the extra shipping option. So Keychron Q1, when compared with the GMMK Pro, Personally, I would say both of these keyboards has their own market. In terms of the bare bone option, I would say the GMMK Pro has a slightly advantage at its chassis build. I prefer the feeling of handling the GMMK Pro chassis, as it is slightly more expensive to make and heavier. So that's just my own preference. However, in terms of the out-of-factory usability, Keychron is definitely doing a better job at delivering it. This one, for example, it has all the switches pre-installed, the stabilizers pre-lubed, and even the Keychron's factory keycaps is pretty good quality as well. So far, out of the box, I have no complaints. Everything just feels nice. Perhaps I just need to add a foam underneath it. I'm not sure, but this is just want to show how the stock Keychron Q1 feels if you are purchasing it straight from Keychron. That's all I want to share with you about the new Keychron Q1 75% mechanical keyboard. If you have any questions, do leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.